Okay.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting for the Environmental Services Committee to order. Is there any pecuniary interest?
None known.
I see no delegations. Our prior meetings minutes have been approved at our last council meeting. We have our task list. Am I moving too fast?
No, the task list, we're having some trouble with producing it this month.
Okay.
We're trying to use eScribe and we're not having a whole lot of luck with it. So
Yeah.
We'll get you something. We'll have to send it afterward, but I know there are a few tasks that were on that list for environmental services that get completed. So there's some progress coming, but I just can't tell you off the top what it is.
And without Jay here, you can't go into details. So
Yeah.
we will move down to our health and safety inspection sheets. So the usual
Yeah,
that we
exactly.
have ongoing with a couple of items, and everything else was
And the one new one is the handrails, and that's
It's
your new
in the
business.
upcoming, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move to receive and file the health and safety sheets.
I'll second that.
New business item number 1, environmental services monthly report. Would you like to take us
So-
through that?
Yeah, a couple of highlights there. The digester project. They're supposed to be in there yesterday and today and tomorrow doing the spraying. No, sorry. Today and tomorrow, they're supposed to be filling the tank. The spraying was done last week. So then they got to fill the tank with water so that they can do the pressure test on it. So we're hoping to get the pressure test done this week sometime. So that's on the first digester still. So we've got our fingers crossed that this will solve the problem with the first tank, and then we can move on to the second one and get it going and get things done in time. So we've really got our fingers crossed.
Which it seems like there's more attention being paid by
Yeah.
the outside contractors
Yeah,
towards this testing, realizing how important it is.
I saw that the looming deadline was mentioned, but I'm trying to find the positive that we seem to be on a good path with this. If we have a successful template,
yeah.
we should be able to meet that deadline for the
Yeah.
grant.
The second one, I mean, the second one's newer than the.
Yeah.
So it should, in theory, go smoother as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a positive out of this.
Yeah.
I know it's been a really long, drawn out
Yeah.
process and difficult for everybody involved. Okay,
Everything else is pretty much standard. I know they've been out testing valves, doing all that work through the mesh system. The work has started on the capacity review study. We're working to set up a meeting with the owner of the old former Homes Foundry property, just to kind of go over what they would like to do on their property and work that into the assessment that they're doing on the capacity review. So we're setting that meeting up. Nothing in inspections.
is there any other future developments that we have on the go that should be consulted in that as well?
Absolutely. So we've already got the other development, the one that we're doing the
Small street.
the
Public
rezoning
meeting
for.
tomorrow.
That I've already given them. They have to submit what's called a servicing report, and it talks about how they're going to get water, how they're going to get sanitary services, all that kind of stuff. So I've submitted that to the people doing the capacity review so that they'll be able to, and we want the same information from the Homes Foundry property. Now, I don't know if they're that far advanced.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the new building that'll go on Venetian, that'll have some impact, not huge, I don't think, but I would say those, and then the other one is if Kentucky ever does anything on their property, and how, if there's X capacity available, what's going to be left when Exmouth and the Homes Foundry get developed, is going to be anything left for Kentucky property. So I would say that's about the end of it for the village. After that would be all developed.
Except for the one that got put on hold on Venetian Barrington's property.
Oh, true, I guess. Yeah, that's
I mean,
possible.
as far
20 units or so
as
there.
far as I understand,
Yeah,
it's kind of on hold.
Yeah, I don't think that would make a huge capacity, but
Okay.
you're right. There are potential 25 to 30 units or so there as well.
Okay.
Townhomes.
Say that's about it. There was the break-in at the sewage treatment plant. So Jay's working on getting some more security put in there.
I think we
We've
talked
done that
about it at the
for-
last meeting.
we
as
did,
well.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So they can't get under the fence and,
And Jay was able to get Aqua to get the water distribution trailer for us for our Canada Day event, so that'll come in handy.
Good.
Especially if it's one of those good hot days.
and he got the grass cut he was wanting. Beside the treatment plant.
Oh, okay,
It's,
that the bridge is supposed to cut.
yeah, it sounded like they came and cut it.
That all looks good.
I think they're doing a lot of work too with we were talking about this morning, these new places going in on Alexander and Victoria.
Oh, yeah, there's like services, yeah,
Yeah.
because they're both
They're both,
semi-detached properties, so they need to have separate services for each property, so that work's being done.
Yeah, I saw Alexander blocked off and
Yeah.
they were digging through the asphalt on the road to redo those connections.
And the same thing will happen over on Victoria.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'll move to receive and file the monthly report for May.
I'll second that.
Item number 2, railings for the aeration tanks.
so these are just, fairly regularly traveled locations at the plant where people could potentially fall and injure themselves or fall into some pretty nasty stuff. So it's been raised as a concern through the Joint Health and Safety Committee inspections. So Jay went to get 3 prices. He was only able to get only two of the 3 responded with quotations. So we are recommending which one is it now? The low bid anyway of 21,250. And this is an unbudgeted expense, but it's, a fairly concerning health and safety issue that we need to deal with. So we would just charge this out as we would put an additional capital item on the agenda or on the in the budget, keep it separate from everything else, and we'd end up being like $21,000 over budget for that line.
So it just concerns me that, like, why didn't we hear about this before? Like, nothing's changed, and all of a sudden, somebody like marks this as an issue and it's $21,000, like,
Yeah, I asked the same question,
Okay.
and it is just one of those hard to say what if something had happened before the issue was identified. If something had happened to an employee or a visitor or something, the ministry, I don't know if they would have come in and said, you should have put these railings in. But now that it's been identified, if we don't, if
Yeah,
something
I mean,
happens,
I-
then you're really in trouble.
I know you
So-
so you have to, but I'm just curious that nothing's changed and it's been there,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it's flagged. And we did deal with railings over there.
Yeah,
year or
on
two
it,
ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago,
And we-
it might even be 3 or 4 years ago now,
Yeah,
but
the way time goes, but
Yeah.
we ended up doing that as a safety issue.
Yeah.
And spending money to put railings up.
Yeah.
But nothing else was identified at that time.
mhm.
It's just curious that.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
I don't know if it's just a separate, I guess I don't know off the top of my head who did the inspection that identified this, so maybe that's the first time that person had been on site in a
A
number
different
of.
set of eyes, but,
Yeah.
because I mean, the staff really haven't changed, but it could be a different rotation.
Mhm.
I know it's a lot of money, but I look at it as a good catch.
Well, I know we have to. I'm
Yeah.
just curious, like, that's all I mean is.
Yeah.
All this time, it was never identified as a problem,
Mhm.
but I guess it's the good thing is it is now,
Yeah,
and you find the money somehow.
Yeah.
fix a health and safety issue.
I mean, potentially it could be left into next year, but again.
Well,
if
once you know.
Once you know, something like this.
Yeah,
Cause I think, you kind of do your risk analysis or something. And. If you're doing a risk analysis, you do your probability of the incident occurring and then the consequences. The probability might not be that high, but the consequences could be
right.
extreme.
And then they also weigh in like, okay, $21,000, this municipality should be able to cover $21,000. It's not like $1 million. So you're obligated to fix it.
Jennifer?
I was part of that health and safety.
Okay,
And it was brought up at that time. And one of the wells that they had, if anything goes in there, it's stuck right to the bottom of the oxygen tank. And I didn't realize that, but anything that would.
like
go
a
in there-
person.
Yeah, it would be like the oxygen. I don't know what it does with the bubbles, but it's
Oh,
going down and not coming out. So I know it was that.
oh, good Lord. Yeah,
Yeah, it was just kind of mentioned, but
okay. So good catch.
So we have to move this recommendation at the committee level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will move that approval be granted to the manager of environmental services to proceed with authorizing the low bidder to proceed with construction and installation of the required safety railings.
And I'll second that.
Hmm.
Then it'll go to the council meeting, or you're gonna do it tomorrow? Just, I don't know what the
Yeah,
timeline is. If there's an urgency, we
it
can do
might
it
not.
tomorrow.
You know what? It probably doesn't hurt to do it tomorrow
Yeah.
just to expedite
Right,
as much as possible. So.
Yeah. okay. Filling up tomorrow, this little midterm.
We'll put
Mid-month.
that on the agenda
Okay.
for tomorrow too, just to,
Make hay while the sun shines.
yeah.
Is there any other new business for the environmental services?
None that I'm aware of.
None other.
I have none. I'll move on to review of financial statements.
I didn't have anything, question out of the ordinary. Well,
I didn't see anything either. So move to receive and file those.
seconded.
Okay. Our next meeting is July the 11th. For adjournment.
Seconded, so moved.